So this is a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ that can cause people great distress, but it has a lot for us to really apply for ourselves, inshallah ta'ala, and a lot for us to think about. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned the descent of Jibreel alayhi salam, that Jibreel alayhi salam came to the Prophet ﷺ, and the Sahaba, the companions, saw the Prophet, peace be upon him, ascending the pulpit, ascending the minbar in the masjid. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. He said Ameen 3 times. And as he said Ameen 3 times, the companions were confused. What is it that caused him to say Ameen? And clearly there was something in between his Ameen. So there was someone making dua that the Prophet ﷺ was saying Ameen to. And because he was ascending, and with each step the Prophet ﷺ said Ameen, and then Ameen, and then he sat ﷺ and he said Ameen. So the companions asked the Prophet ﷺ, Ya Rasulullah, what is that dua that you were making? And I know many of you have heard this hadith, but inshallah ta'ala we'll have a different understanding of it today. The Prophet ﷺ said, Jibreel alayhi salam came to me. And Jibreel alayhi salam said, Raghima anfu aw khaba wa khasar. May his nose be rubbed in the dust, and he has lost and failed. Who is that? The Prophet ﷺ said that Jibreel alayhi salam said, the one who hears your name and does not send salawat upon you. And then the third one, and by the way, it's not in order. I purposely left the last one, inshallah ta'ala, as in this regard, to be the discussion for us, the discussion point for us. The one who, man adraka Ramadan, the one who Ramadan came upon and left, and they were not forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This incredible season, this incredible month passed through them, passed by them, but it never actually penetrated their hearts, nor were they amongst those who were forgiven and shown the great mercy. And as Omar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah ta'ala said, لَقَدْ خَابَ وَخَسِرْ مِنْ خَرَجَ عَنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ الَّتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Then, he used the same words. What a person has truly lost and failed when they manage to miss out on the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it has encompassed everything. وَحُرِمَ جَنَّةً, and was forbidden from a paradise, or did not find space in a Jannah, عَرْضُهَا كَعَرْضِ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ, that is more vast than the heavens and the earth. Like, how could you miss out on the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So Jibreel alayhi salam comes down on Laylatul Qadr to pray upon people, to send salam on people. The angels send salam on people. This is a month of great mercy, a month of repentance, a month of recitation, a month where people are clinging back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making change. And there are some people that Ramadan, with all of its glory, the last 10 nights with all of its glory, comes upon, and they still don't get the forgiveness and the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, Raghima anfu, how could it be that a person fails to attain the mercy of God in this month of mercy, right? So these are the 3 that Jibreel alayhi salam prays against. And, we're going to talk in detail. The 26th episode of the Angel series actually talks about who Jibreel prays for, alayhi salam. So this is who he prays against. Now, there's a lot to discuss here and a lot to unpack, because if you leave that hadith unexplained, if you leave it without elaboration, then that can cause you great despair, because there's nothing to measure whether or not you are amongst those that are missing out on the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you hear that hadith, and like, you had a bad night of Taraweeh, and you say, this is just not my month. Tonight's the 23rd night. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to observe Laylatul Qadr, whichever one of the nights it is. The 23rd night passes. Let's say in the morning, everyone's, sending pictures of the sunrise the next morning and saying, I felt amazing last night, and it must have been Laylatul Qadr. And a person had a miserable night, and a person says, I must be one of those that Jibreel alayhi salam prayed against. Okay, I must be one of those that Jibreel prayed against, and it causes them great despair. A person set a goal in the very beginning of the month to recite the Quran 3 times or 4 times or 2 times or even 1 time, finish the Quran, and they fell behind and they didn't finish, and they say, I must be one of those that missed out on the mercy and the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Jibreel alayhi salam prayed against, because I didn't feel it this Ramadan, and I didn't meet my goals of hasanat, my goals of good deeds this Ramadan. So you have to ask yourself, not, oh my God, I had a bad night of Taraweeh. Ya Allah, I had a bad night of Taraweeh. I must be one of those people Jibreel prayed against. No, Am I doing anything that would violate the fast, that would violate these blessed nights? Am I watching something that I should not be watching? Am I saying something I should not be saying? Am I doing something I should not be doing? It's thinking about that. And this is not like in the deep sense of the sins that we do regularly, unknowingly, that the salawat are kafara for, that the prayers are expiation for, and those things. This is a person who's very alertly sinning, right? And dishonoring a time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored. Okay? And Allah Azza wa Jalla sending you something. And so when someone says, what's the best way to get Laylatul Qadr accepted? My first thing I'm going to say to you is don't do anything that would cause Laylatul Qadr to be rejected. That's the first thing. If you're going to do something to cause it to be rejected, that's how you find your way out of it. Because it's an incredible night that Allah Azza wa Jalla sends. How do I, how am I going to be punished in Ramadan? Is something going to happen to me in Ramadan? How do I know my fasting is going to be? Don't do anything that's going to cause your fasting to be rejected. Okay? Don't do anything that's going to cause your fasting to be rejected. All right? Through harmful speech or through something that you're doing that's abusive or whatever it may be. Don't do anything that would cause it to be rejected. Okay? So that's the first thing. The rest of it is ihsan. The rest of it is excellence. The rest of it is excellence, is striving for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all the added du'as on the day of Arafah, for example, that's not the part of Hajj Mabrur, that I had an accepted Hajj, that I had a great du'a session. That's a part of an elevated Hajj, an elevated experience. And so here you are in these last 10 nights, in this Ramadan, am I doing something that would cause me to miss out on the blessing? That would cause me to be just openly neglectful of it. All right. What am I looking at? What am I saying? What am I doing? All right. And it's again obvious. And I'm going to leave on one note, inshallah ta'ala, in this regard, because we spoke about this last week. This idea that to leave off one sin is better than gaining 1,000 new good deeds and habits in Ramadan. Okay. To leave off one sin is better than gaining 1,000 new habits in Ramadan, because taqwa is tark al-ma'asi. Taqwa, God consciousness, is leaving off sin, the bad things. Ihsan, excellence, is building the good things, building the extra good things. Okay? And I'll probably write something about this too. Some of you have been talking about how, mashallah, you've been enjoying all of the incredible content that's online these days. All of the mashayikh that are doing different things here and there. I can tune into this, I can tune into that. I'm watching this series, I'm watching that series. I'm consuming this and consuming this and consuming that. Are you already planning that post-Ramadan you're going to start consuming that next series that is on, whatever it is that you haven't been watching, that was corrupting to the soul and corrupting to the mind and the heart? Are you already thinking about that stuff, right? I've got to put it away. Consume spiritually, through my eyes, through my heart, through my tongue, through my ears, what's going to purify me on the inside, what's going to make me better, what's going to bring me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so again, dear brothers and sisters, what could cause you to miss out on Laylatul Qadr? A WhatsApp message. What could cause you to miss out on Laylatul Qadr? Scrolling through something and just, sticking to something you're not supposed to be sticking to right now. What could cause you to miss out on Laylatul Qadr? A really dumb conversation you should not be having in Laylatul Qadr. And it's probably not a good idea to have conversations on the night of Laylatul Qadr with a bunch of people, or to drag on a conversation and say, what, let's talk later. I want to focus right now. What could cause you to miss Laylatul Qadr? What will cause you to lose out on the acceptance of Laylatul Qadr? Something that rejects Laylatul Qadr. Allah is too merciful. Allah is too merciful to leave you with the burden of despair. Okay? I messed up, I'm done. No, strive, mujahada, strive and strive and strive. And the first thing is, don't do anything that's going to make this this great season, devoid of your acceptance and your forgiveness. And then build on that, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is husn adhan in Allah, having a good expectation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Build on that good expectation of Allah. Build on it. And inshallah ta'ala, you will elevate yourself and you'll elevate spiritually, and you will be amongst those, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, that Jibreel alayhi salam not only doesn't pray against, but that Jibreel prays for and visits and says salam to, along with the other angels, and take us back up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the one whom Allah has no need of their fasting is the one who doesn't give up the harm of the tongue, The one whom Allah has no need of their prayer at night is the one who doesn't give up the sins of the night. The one who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not, is just would reject in this regard is a person who insists. وَلَمْ يُصِرُّوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلُوا وَهُمْ يَعْلَمُونَ. A person who insists upon living, in a certain way and doing certain things that would cause them to miss out on that barakah.